test, see if I'm in the picture. This is a test to see if I can be in the picture. Okay, I think I'm in the picture, but I need to be turned up a little bit the other way. Hi folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's about time I started this video for today. I've been playing around for more than half an hour trying to set up all these bits and pieces here to give you a bit of a story, something to ponder today. And you can't smell it here, but it's getting close to spring in Adelaide, and I've got a beautiful jasmine bush just up there above. It's just out of the picture, I think. And I've got this beautiful perfume of jasmine flowers coming down. You might hear the chimes go off in the background. That's not saying it's lunchtime, but that'll just add to the ambience. So welcome back. So you might look at all this here and say, what on earth is he on about today? It's a little bit of a history lesson in some ways, and just something to whet your appetite and have a think about. I'm going to show you a photograph here. I'm going to get up from here, and then I've got to try and get back here. I'll be going up and forth a few times, so hopefully I won't fall over, having had my hip surgery not all that long ago. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is a photograph that was taken some years ago, and then I'll get on to why I'm talking about all this stuff. Okay, I just printed this off a little while ago on my printer at home. Don't know whether you can focus on that or whether it's focusing on that, but that's a couple of guys standing alongside of a tree in South Australia's Riverland. If I come back, you might be able to read what it says on the bottom there. And they're actually firing an old folding Kodak this type camera by pulling on a piece of string to take a photographing themselves, a selfie in other words. This is the earliest forms of selfie that we used to have. I'll just read what it says here. Self-taken photo with string. Ron Quick and Noel, 1937. So that was in 1937. And that's what they used to do. Of course, when people started taking photos, they say, well, I want to be in the photo, but I can't be in it if I'm taking photos of someone else. A little bit windy here, isn't it? You can hear the chimes going. I'll sit down, hopefully it won't blow the camera over or blow the phone over. Settle down, wind, stop. So, today is a little bit of a lesson on the various remote controls, and I don't cover everything here. It's a good exercise to do a search on the internet, on Google, to look up the history of remote control of all sorts of devices. But there are a number of cameras here. If you have a look at them, I'll just tell you which ones they are. This one here is the Pentax MZS film camera. This one down here is a Pentax. Okay, well I guess that was pretty predictable, wasn't it? I predicted that. And now the chimes are going, so it is probably afternoon tea time, but I've already had a break trying to change location now and set this up again. So I didn't actually review all of what I took before, but we'll use some of that. And it's quite a good catastrophe that happened halfway through anyway. So I did show you this photograph. I hope you could see that photograph before reasonably clearly, which was an early, back in 1937, my father-in-law's brother and a friend taking a selfie using a piece of string on an old folding Kodak pocket camera, they used to call them. I've got one here somewhere. Couldn't find it. I had some other props to use here, but I can't ever find half of the stuff that I've got here. I know I've got it, but there's a few things that I had. I had something here before and then I lost it, so I'm not going to show you that. And but that's by the by. We'll give you something to think about today anyway. So I think I started to say what cameras I had here. This is a Pentax MZS film camera. This is a Pentax KR, I think it is, or KX digital SLR camera. This one down here is a Pentax SFXN film camera, and this one here is the Pentax IST digital camera, the first Pentax digital SLR that came out. This one here is the Pentax MZ6, another one in the MZ film series, similar to the MZS. And this one here is a Pentax Spotmatic 2. And this one up here is a Pentax, it's a point and shoot, IQ Zoom 160, beautiful little camera. So a number of these cameras have something in common, but a couple of them don't. The other camera that I've got here, which I'll start off talking about, is my dad's old Yashica Standard 8 movie camera. I'll put a link, I've done a review of this camera on my YouTube channel, so I'll put a link on this, and you can have a look at that link. In fact, I'll just come out now and I'll show you a couple of things about it, because in our, make sure I don't trip over all this stuff again, in our family archives there's a famous movie film that my dad took using this camera. There it is. This is the old wind-up type camera, clockwork. Hear it going? Turns it on and off like that. So the thing is that if you wanted to put yourself in the movie, how did you do that with a camera like that? Well, there's a famous movie in our family archives. My dad and mum went camping years ago and had the old FJ or FX Holden, and my dad built a special annex to go around it, red and white stripes, and they were camping out in the middle of nowhere, and my dad decided to make a home movie of him chasing mum round and round the tent, and he filmed it in remote control. And then after he'd done about 3 or 4 laps of the tent, he then realised that the camera was still running, so he raced over to turn it off. One day I'll put that on YouTube so you can see it. It's a classic bit of stuff. But how did he do it? Well, he had this little remote control. There you go, look at that. And it's clockwork. You just wind it up. It's got a little plunger here. And what you do is you put this in this, we'll wind this, I think we wound this up. Okay, so you put this into the little screw mount spot here, and I'll show you some more of this type of thing on some of the other film cameras. Is that going to go in for me? Whoops. Wait a minute. I've got to take it back a bit, I think. I'm really not demonstrating that very well. I should have done some bit more research, but trust me, that actually goes into there, and unless it was a different camera that he used, but that goes in there. This is a clockwork little self timer, and it gives you a few minutes, or 20 seconds I think it gives you, and that's how he did it. He used this little remote control, and you can use these sort of remote controls on film cameras too, putting in a little thread into the plunger into your cable release socket on your films. Anyway, so that's that. That really starting off well, aren't I? Going well. But that's the sort of thing that he used to do that remote control of the film. Now, some of these cameras, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have something in common. They have something in common. 5 of these cameras have something in common. The other 2 are a bit different, but they're all Pentaxes, as you can see. Now, the thing that 5 of them have in common is that this little remote control here, which there is a box somewhere, I've probably lost that too. Here it is. This is the Pentax Remote Control F. It comes in a little box like that. It's very small. I'll come up and show it to you. I should have had it over there and showed it to you before. This is all good rehabilitation, this getting up and down. So there you are. It's very small. I mean, it looks big here because I'm up close to the lens, but it's very small. Only about 1.5 inches long and very thin. And it's just press stop and start. So basically, 5 of these cameras you can use with this remote control. You can use the some of the digital cameras that I've got. 2 of these digital SLRs it'll work on. It'll also work on the KX and the KR and lots of other Pentax digital SLRs. It also works on this little point and shoot film camera. And it also works on the Pentax MZS. Now the cat's going to join me. That's all I need. And it works on this MZ6. So it works on all 5 of those cameras. So to demonstrate that, and I'm sure the demonstration will go wrong, I'm going to trigger those cameras off. I'm going to pop the flash up, set all of these so that they are on remote operation, and then press the trigger and see if all the flashes go off at the same time. I have to go over there to where the camera is to actually set this going. So that'll be an interesting experiment. The other thing with the other 2 cameras, because over the years technology has adapted to change with the times. We've got remotes for everything these days, remotes for video cameras, for our digital SLRs, and of course with the latest digital cameras, you can use your phone to set them off remotely and control them. And we can have remote control of drones and all that sort of stuff. So I'll just show you this one. This is the Pentax SFXN. I had a look on this to see if it had any remote control capabilities for that little gadget. It doesn't, but these do have a remote control, which I've got one of, fortunately. It's in lock at the moment. That just plugs into the side there, and you just press the button. We'll see if this is turned on. I think it is. See what happens. We'll just take a photo by pressing the remote control. There you go. So it worked. Now, so why do you need, apart from taking selfies, why do we need remote control? Well, I'll put that question to you again. So apart from taking selfies and putting yourself in the picture, I've done it quite often over the years, putting myself in family group photos and things like that. So why do we need a remote control on cameras? Well, the thing is that sometimes, particularly if you're doing landscape photography, you might want to keep the camera on a tripod and have it very steady, and if you're pressing a button or something like that, you can cause shake and get some movement. But if you're using a remote control, particularly one of these, you're not touching the camera at all, you're not moving it. If the camera's firm and secure on the tripod, that'll be fine. Also, some of these you can use to you could use it for vlogging. Not on these cameras, I don't think. I don't think this works for movies on the digital Pentax digital SLRs, the ones I've got anyway. I noticed that my Canon 600D and 700D, you can get a remote for them, which I'll probably get now that I realise you can get one, and that can also trigger your movies off as well. So you could use that for your vlogging. I could be, in fact, it might be a good idea if I stop tipping my phone over on this little light flimsy tripod over here. I think my tripod, that little tripod for the phone, needs a hip replacement more than I do. So anyway, but yeah, you can use these remote controls for all sorts of reasons, and of course, you know, the sky's the limit on how they control things now. The other way of controlling things is, and I had one here before, is that this is the old Pentax Spotmatic, and I'll come up and show you. I had my cable release cord here before, but I've lost it since I started setting all this up, and so basically just up here is the cable release. So if you, what's going on there? Ah. Perhaps I need to get rid of the number 5. Okay, so I found out what the problem was. This camera was jammed. The shutter wasn't releasing. So and I realised by just using the tension on here that there was a film in it, and it was on 5 exposures here. And so what I did is I pressed this shutter release button here, rewound the film till it just gave a little bit, so I knew I hadn't rewound the film back into the box here. So here's the film, and this wasn't taking up properly. It wasn't winding on properly, and it's all a bit curled there. So what I'm going to do, but it had taken 5 shots. So what I'll do later on is I'll just cut that bit off there and reload it into the camera, and it should be going. So you can see now that the camera's fine, but it was jammed before for some reason, and it was jammed up to 5 exposures. So all I do next time is I'll put that film back in there, and I'll just cut off a little bit at the start and see if I can get it again. I'll wind through 5 shots, take 5 shots with the lens cap on my hand over there so that it doesn't re-expose the shots that have already been taken, and then I'll be able to do it again. So, but what I'm saying is that the form of self-timer with some of the earlier cameras, of course, was using these little cable release sockets, and many of the old film cameras have that cable release socket. The more modern digital SLRs, of course, don't have that. So that was the little Pentax Spotmatic. That's another close look up at the little movie film self-timer that we had before too. So I don't know whether I showed you what it looked like on the inside here. Is that open? I think it does. That flipped open before and gave me a bit more information. I'll have to get into that and read the instructions properly. So anyway, so we're getting there. So we're almost ready to have an experiment to see if we can set these up to make them work. So I guess you can do your own research about remote controls, and what I'm going to do now is put all of these cameras in the position whereby this should trigger it off. Now I haven't tested it. Famous last words. Why would he test it? So it should fire that one, it should fire that one. I'm going to put the flash up on each of these. It should fire that one, it should fire this one, and it should fire that one. So I'm just going to set them up now, and you should get a flashing light here somewhere when we set this up. Let's have a look now. With the Pentax MZS, you can't do remote firing unless you have one of these battery grips on the bottom. And you can see here, there is, it says over here, remote. There's a little symbol there. Can you see that there? And you just press this up, press it up, and then on the front here, you should be seeing that light flashing on and off. That means it's primed up and ready to go. So we'll put that one up. We'll just leave that. Hopefully the batteries will last while I'm setting all these up. So that light's still flashing. This one here. A little button over here. Can adjust the self-timer. That's now on self-timer. That's going as well. Pop the flash up. Put this one out the road. This one here, we'll turn this one on. Set that one to self-timer now. That's got a flashing button as well. Should be able to see that flashing button there. And we'll pop the flash up. Sorry, forgot to do that. Pop the flash up. This one here. This little point and shoot, we've got to turn that on first. Whoops. And the little self-timer button over here. Now that's got a flashing light too. This one over here. And that the flash should go off on that one. And this one over here, we set this one up. And we go. Remote control. We've got the remote control on, I think. I think we have. Let's have another go. We'll pop the flash up. So I haven't tested this to see if they'll all go off at once. This battery in here is almost flat in this one here, so that's no good. So now I'm going to come over here with the remote control and stand back here, and we'll see what happens. If I point at one down here, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all flashing. Here we go. Oh, this one over here hasn't got the flash up. I better pop the flash up on this one, which goes up like that. So that should prove to us that these are going to fire. Now here we go. 1, 2, 3. I think they all went. Don't know about this ISTD one down here. There you go. I think 5 of them went off, but you have to trust me on that. So, going back right around, I'm earning my cup of tea and a biscuit in a minute. So there you go. I hope you found that informative. Do some research of your own. You should turn all these off, because this one here, I was amazed that one kept going, because that battery was showing pretty flat. And that off. That one down there, that one down there. And of course the other ones, you use the plungers. And of course the other alternative to using a remote control is the self-timer mode, which you can put your camera on a tripod and you can get everyone and set the camera up, everyone in front of the group, press it on self-timer. You can take up to about 10 shots with a lot of these cameras, which is a lot of fun to do as well. But you can take control this way of doing it, and as I said, with the modern digital SLRs, a remote control is probably a good way to do vlogging as well, apart from the modern cameras. So some of you are getting into film cameras. Maybe you should have a look at some of the film cameras you've got. This remote control, this little one here, they cost about $30 or more in Australia, although you can get a cheaper version online, I think for about $9. I'm not sure whether that's Australian or American or whatever. But these work with a few of these point and shoot Pentax cameras and some of these other Pentax cameras as well. So if you're into Pentax, have a look around. Whatever camera you're using, look up on the internet and see whether they have remote controls and start to have some fun. I just started doing this because I was looking into my camera bag, as you do, to see what odds and sods were there, and I thought, oh, I haven't used that for a long time. Let's have a look at it. So then I got the idea of doing this video. So once again, thanks for watching, bloopers and all, and like if you like, subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again.